Hello everyone and thank you so much for watching my channel The Witty Turtle. In today's video we are going to discuss a very important section, that is section 43A, which speaks about special provision consequential to changes in rate of exchange of currency, right? So this particular provision is applicable in those cases where the SSE is purchasing any kind of asset from any country outside India, right? Any country outside India. So obviously we are maintaining our books of accounts in India in Indian currency, that is Indian rupees. But when you are purchasing something from outside India, then that asset you will purchase according to their currency, right? For example, you purchased an asset of rupees of 1 lakh dollar, right? 1 lakh dollar. So dollar, the rate of dollar is changing every day, right? So accordingly, whatever the price of that asset is for you in USA, that is not equivalent to the price in India. Why? Because the day when you purchase that, or the day when you decided that you'll purchase, for example, the dollar was 60 rupees, right? But when you are paying the installments, then the dollar may become 68, or the dollar may become 56, right? So there is a fluctuation in the dollar rate. So according to that, there will be some increase or decreasing in the amount that you are supposed to pay to the foreign supplier, right? I hope you are understanding that. Because the rate of the foreign currency is changing every day, so there will be some increase or decrease in the amount of in the amount of price that you are supposed to pay to the supplier from whom you are purchasing an asset in an abroad country, right? So this is the entire thing about this particular section. So this particular section is applicable where the SSE is purchasing any asset or acquiring any asset outside India by taking money either in supplier credit, like foreign supplier credit, or by foreign currency loan, right? Or by foreign currency loan. So in those cases, what happens? That entire scenario we are going to study now. So, in this particular section, we are basically studying what are the consequences of change in the exchange rate after the acquisition of the asset. Right? After you purchase the asset and you have some installment amounts yet to be paid. So, in that cases, when the exchange rate is changing, then what will be the consequences on the price of the asset? Right? So, this is a point to be noted. It says that at the time of making the payment, it doesn't concern with when the asset was purchased or when the asset was put to use. It is concerned with at the time of making the payment, when you are paying the when you are making the payment, or when you are paying the full installment, right? So at the time of making the payment, an increase or decrease in the liability of assessee. Liability means the amount which you are going to pay, right? That is your liability because you are yet to pay the amount, you have not yet paid. So that is your liability. So an increase or decrease in the liability of the assessee expressed in Indian currency. Expressed in Indian currency. Why? Because the rate of dollar is changing, right? So earlier, for example, $1 was 60 rupees, and now $1 has become 68 rupees, right? So what is changing here? The amount of Indian currency is changing, right? We have studied this in foreign exchange chapter in SFM also. So what is happening here? Here the increase or decrease of liability is happening in Indian currency. When we are expressing the price of the asset in Indian currency, then only the increase or decrease is happening. So in that case, what happens? When the dollar is increasing, right? For example, the dollar is increasing from 60 to it became 68 rupees. So what happens? The amount of rupees you are going to pay them, that is again increasing, right? So the SSE is facing loss. Why? Because you have to visualize this. When you bought the asset, right? For example, the price of the asset in USD is 1 lakh rupees, right? And you bought the asset when $1 was equal to 60 rupees, right? So for you, what will be the price of the asset in Indian rupees? It will be 60 lakh rupees, right? But now when you are making the first installment, so you're making the first installment of $40,000, for example, right? So now what happens, the price of dollar has increased, so $1 is equal to 72 rupees now, right? So when we are saying that $1 is equal to 72 rupees now, and you're supposed to make 40,000 of payment, then what happens? 40,000 into 72 is equal to 28 lakhs 80,000, right? But if the dollar price was stagnant, if the dollar price was not changing, then how much you are supposed to pay? 40,000 into 60 rupees, that is your 24 lakhs, right? Understood? So now the gap between 24 lakhs and 28,000, 28 lakhs 80,000, that is what? That is your loss. Why loss? Because this loss, you're having this loss in Indian rupees, because the price of dollar is changing, because the exchange rate is changing, right? So that is what we are talking about here. If the dollar increases, then the rupee in amount will also increase. The rupee amount which you are going to pay to the supplier to get the asset, that will also increase. So in that case, the SSC is going to face a loss, right? Now similarly, if the dollar decreases, right? For example, when you bought the asset, the dollar was $1 equals to 60 rupees, and now it has become $1 equal to 56 rupees. So here, what is happening? The dollar price is decreasing. So in this case, the SSC is going to get a profit. Why? Because see, the first installment you're supposed to pay $40,000. So if in the earlier price, at the time of on the day when you purchased the asset, if you would have made the entire payment on that day, then how much it would have cost you? The 40,000 into 60 rupees, that is your 24 lakhs, right? But now when the dollar has become 56 rupees, so how much it will cost you? 40,000 into 56, that is equal to 22 lakhs 40,000. So अगर आपने पहले खरीदा होता था, if you would have purchased that on the very same day, then what happens? Then you were supposed to pay 24 lakhs, but now because the dollar price has decreased, so what happens? You will get you're supposed to pay 22 lakhs 40,000. So यहाँ पर simply you are getting a profit of 1 lakh 60,000 rupees, right? So that is what we are talking about in this case. So you have to adjust that amount of loss or that amount of profit in your calculation of depreciation. How? That we will understand further. So now the section also says that when the asset is acquired on foreign supplier credit, foreign supplier से जब आप credit लेके खरीद रहे हो, so the payment towards the whole or part of the cost will be adjusted. And also when you are purchasing on foreign currency loan, by taking any foreign currency loan, so in that case, repayment of the whole or part of the money borrowed by him in any foreign currency, along with the repayment of interest, because it is a loan, so you'll also have to consider the interest amount. So this is what it is talking about: repayment of the principal money along with the interest amount. Again, the effect of exchange rate will also fall on this, and similarly you have to make an adjustment in your books of accounts, right? So the section can be summed up like this: any asset acquired from foreign country through foreign supplier credit or foreign currency loan. So any loss or profit at the time of payment, this is also very important, at the time of payment shall be adjusted with the block of asset. It shall be adjusted with the block of asset. Now you might be thinking, where are we supposed to adjust it? So while calculating the depreciation, you have to adjust the amount in that block of asset, right? Now the liability so increased or reduced shall be added to or deducted from three things, right? Whatever increase or decrease in the liability is there, so that shall be added to, or that shall be deducted from these three things. The first is your actual cost under section 43 subsection 1, and the second point says that capital expenditure under section 35 subsection 1 clause 4. right? So this is talking about your scientific research. For performing any in-house scientific research, when you are purchasing any capital expenditure, when you are making any capital expenditure and purchasing some assets, then that comes under your section 35 subsection 1 clause 4, right? So in this case, whatever amount you have spent to acquire that asset, 100% reduction will be claimed on that, right? 100% reduction will be claimed on that. So in this case, if there is a change in the exchange rate, and you are getting a increase or a decrease in the liability, the SSA is getting any increase or decrease in the liability amount, then what happens? You have already taken 100% deduction. So if any loss happens, then iska kya matlab hai? It means again it is going out from your pocket. It is going out from your pocket. So you have to add that. If any loss is there, then you have to add that. But if you are having any profit, then you have to deduct that from the block of asset, right? I hope this is clear. Yes. The next thing that you have to adjust is cost of acquisition of capital asset for section 48. Again, we know that cost of asset, we have to adjust that. So what happens now? After doing this addition and deduction, whatever final amount you are getting, that will be known as your actual cost of the asset which was acquired outside India, right? After this deduction and addition only, the final amount will be known as your actual cost. Why? Because there is an exchange rate prevailing which is continuously changing every day, right? Now look at this example. This is just a pro forma of how to incorporate the loss or the profit in the calculation of block, right? So first we know opening WDV. Then you have to add whether the asset was acquired in previous year, and it was put to use or not. Then it was put to use for 180 days or more, or 180 days or less, that you have to take into consideration. Then if you have sold any asset, then whatever is the money payable amount, that you have to calculate. After that, whatever is written in the red ink, that is the hero of the example, right? So if you are having any loss at the time of payment to the foreign supplier under section 43A, if you are having any loss, then you have to add that loss. Why? Because the loss is again going out from your pocket, and you can also claim deduction for that loss, right? And if you have any profit, why then you have to less that, you have to deduct that amount of profit. Why? Because it is a profit, you are getting it, it is coming into your pocket, right? So you have to deduct it from the actual cost, right? So after doing this addition and deduction, finally you will get WTV for depreciation, and on that you can calculate depreciation in full rate or half rate according to the period put to use, right? Now after that you will get the closing WTV of the block, right? I hope this is clear. So the only thing that we need to remember in this particular section is that the asset is acquired from a foreign country through any foreign supplier credit or foreign currency loan, right? If these two things are there to supply you money, then this particular section is applicable. And any loss or gain at the time of making the payment, shall be adjusted with the block of asset. It shall be either deducted or it shall be added to the block of asset depending upon the situation. If you're having loss, then you have to add it. If you're having profit, then you have to deduct it from the block of asset, right? And after doing this addition or deduction, whatever final amount you are getting, that shall be considered as the actual cost of the asset which was acquired from a foreign country, right? I hope this section is clear to you. If you find this video helpful, and if you find this entire revision series helpful, then please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, The Witty Turtle, and also don't forget to share this video with your CA, CMA, intern, and final friends.